initial reaction, apart from the disruption, of course, yesterday? What do you think about the substance of what she said?
We are in the middle of this unprecedented political crisis, and everybody across the political spectrum were expecting that the chief executive, our head of government, would put forward some solutions, some political solutions. But judging from this very short policy address, one of the shortest in history, in fact,
Right.
she provides absolutely no political solutions whatsoever. So what is going on? This is the problem. And leaving politics aside, assuming that, okay, there's nothing wrong going on in politics.
Right.
But simply looking at this policy address, there's nothing new in there. Well, there are a few measures. They are only measures, but not policy. You cannot see that the chief executive is trying to bring Hong Kong people a vision or any hope regarding what's going on.
But isn't part of the unrest, not all of it, isn't part of the unrest the discontent about the economic imbalance? And do you think she addressed it with some of those measures she announced yesterday?
Our question is, yes, she expanded the mortgage threshold from 4 million to 800 million to buy a flat, and so you can get 90% of mortgage. But I thought it was this government who was trying to warn Hong Kong people that, hey, don't rush into the market. You better beware, because the market, property market especially, might fall any time. It was this government who was trying to warn us from getting into the market, but now it's the same government who's trying to encourage people to buy bigger flats. So what is the logic here? It's just inconsistent.
Alvin, I want to read just a couple of lines for our viewers who don't know this, but median property prices in Hong Kong climbed to 20.9 times median household income in 2018. The income inequality in Hong Kong was the most for any developed nation in 2016, and about 1 in 5 Hong Kong residents live below the poverty line. So my question is, why were any of these measures proposed earlier? And can there be an economic solution to at least help solve some of these political problems?
We were expecting that the chief executive could put forward some reforming, groundbreaking policies in order to resolve all the problems that you have just mentioned. But unfortunately, the measures that she put forward could have introduced a year or 2 or 3 ago. But why now? It's just unconvincing, and we worry that these measures are too far-fetched and they could not resolve the problems in the near future.
Alvin, on this Hong Kong bill that has just passed the House, how concerned are you that this could actually backfire and actually in the future Hong Kong could be deemed not autonomous enough, lose its special trading status, and on top of that you get an even more adverse reaction from Beijing?
The ball is in the Hong Kong government's court. It's entirely up to Hong Kong government and the leadership to demonstrate to the rest of the world that Hong Kong still deserves this very special status, not only from the U.S., but also from international investors. If the world starts losing confidence and trust in Hong Kong, then there's no point to convince anybody. And regardless of this bill, we will still lose our investment from the rest of the world. So it's entirely up to this government to do whatever to bring trust back to Hong Kong.
You talk about the government as if you're not part of it, but you're a member of LegCo. And the reason I bring that up is I understand, of course, the position of your side is all 5 or nothing, right? In other words, they have to give in to all 5 demands. Do you see, though, because you guys are the adults in the room, do you see, though, on both sides, the need for both of you to compromise a little bit because of the drastic situation that you just painted there on the economy and society?
Let's learn from history. It's always the ones who is in power to make concessions. But judging from Carrie Lam's policy address yesterday, she made no such intention. I mean, from an ordinary citizen's point of view, we are not asking for the moon here. We are asking for something so legitimate and reasonable from this government. And if this government is saying that, hey, I can't do it tomorrow, things cannot change overnight,
right,
but we intend to bring change, that is still a big step forward. But we see no such thing from Carrie Lam's policy address yesterday.
I'm sure this has come up in your conversations, at least. Not that it might happen or it will happen, but who do you think might be a good replacement for Carrie Lam? Who would you accept?
Anybody but Carrie Lam, and it's best if Beijing...
Give me a name. Give me a name.
A couple of years ago, we had John Zhang trying to contest the seat. John Zhang, the former financial secretary, who is also from the government, who has been serving as a financial secretary for 1 decade.
Right.
He should have earned the trust from Beijing, but obviously he did not eventually. What was going on? We do not know. But then, again, we are not asking for something so drastic. We are simply asking Beijing and Hong Kong government to have an open mind. Hong Kong is Hong Kong. Hong Kong is not an ordinary city of China, and we deserve someone who has an open mind.
Final question, just back on the economy and the measures she made yesterday. A lot of the measures need money, funding. Are you going to vote to support those measures, or are you going to vote against giving that money to put in place those measures?
One of the measures is the artificial island, which is highly controversial, and the Democrats were opposed to that because it's just unnecessary and overly expensive.